about a pretty sensitive subject that I get asked a lot. And it basically boils down to, when is it too late to get started in a cinematography career? Is it too late for me to become a cinematographer? Funny enough, I get asked this question by people of all ages and experience levels, and we're gonna be talking about that in this video. And like always, though, I think people really want me to preface every video with this, so maybe I'll start doing it. This is my opinion based on my experiences in the film industry and based on people I've spoken to. So if you don't agree, that's completely cool. Please don't like punch me through the monitor. Can't we just, we'll hug at the end of the video. Let's hug at the end of the video, deal? Really looking forward to the hugging part. So to start it off, say you're in high school and you want to start making short films and putting them on YouTube. But you know, your friend, he's been doing this for like an entire year. He even has his own camera and he's already got like 1,000 followers on YouTube. It's like, I'm so far behind, I can't possibly catch up to that. It's too late for me. Or you're a college student and say you're a junior and you majored in something else, but you didn't really like it, but you found filmmaking somewhere through that. And you're like, oh, I really want to do this filmmaking thing, but I've already put in 3 years. And I hung out with the other people that have been doing filmmaking from freshman year. They've been doing it 3 years longer than me. It's way too late for me to get started. I might as well just give up right now. There's no way I can go into filmmaking. There's people that are 3 years ahead of me. How am I supposed to ever catch up to that? Next, I talk to people that have done careers for 5, even 10 years in another field. I won't name names, but there's people that have done audio engineering for like 8 to 7 years, that sort of thing. People that went into design, they went in agency for creative stuff, for like commercials and whatnot. There's people that were musicians for 10 years and they worked in 3D, but they really like filmmaking, so they want to direct or they want to start DPing things. Is it too late for me? And the very last example, and this is something that is very close and dear to my heart because I have kids, people ask me, I'm in a career that I'm unhappy with, and I want to become a filmmaker, a director, a cinematographer, but I have a family. You know, I have a house, I've got cars, I've got kids, lots of kids, they're expensive. I've got a lifestyle that we have to kind of uphold and maintain, but I'm really not happy and I really love filmmaking and I want to do it full time. Is it too late for me to become a cinematographer? So number one, you and me and everybody else, we are the sum of all the mistakes that we've made in our lives, right? We have tried to be good people, good boyfriends or girlfriends, good filmmakers, good adults. Learning how to adult is hard, and it comes through trial and error, and the error is the big part. I think you just get rid of the trial part, it just comes from error. There's a lot of errors, there's a lot of mistakes. So how does that relate to it being too late to become a cinematographer? I think what happens if you frame life this way is that you think that you've spent all this time, whether in high school, college, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you spent all this time making mistakes in other arenas that isn't filmmaking. And there's all these people ahead of you that have been making mistakes and getting better and better and better. So how can you jump into the game now? It seems like it's too late. Well, let's talk about that a little bit more. What I would say to that is, based on my 10 years or so of being in the film industry, is that you would think from the outside that my 20s to 30s was spent making all film mistakes, and that's how I've gotten to be where I am in the cinematography world. But I would put it to you that actually most of the mistakes I made in the beginning of my career, I made as a 20-year-old, right? These were mistakes with being professional, so like waking up on time, knowing not to drink before a shoot, how to manage my schedule, how to email people back promptly. So I would say, especially directly out of college, that was actually where a lot of my mistakes were being made. It had nothing to do with cinematography. It was really just having to be a professional person. But a lot of that translates to other professions. So if you spent time in another field, then you've learned how to be a professional worker, if that makes sense, or a professional creative in that space, that I believe that will serve you even if you weren't doing it in filmmaking. So another place that I really made a lot of mistakes, so this could be the Matt Mistake Show, is that I made mistakes with dealing with people, right? I've always had a hard time with leadership. In all meanings of that word, basically working under people, I've always had trouble with authority a little bit. And then when I became like the leader and had crew people that were working under me and I was responsible for leading them, I will say I think I had a lot of insecurities in my position as the DP, and I think that my leadership and my ability to make people want to work well under me, I think that I was I made a lot of mistakes in that arena, and I know that because of reasons that maybe I'll talk about in a different episode. If you've been working in another field, a creative field, actually in any field where you're dealing with bosses and you're dealing with a team that you're responsible for leading, if you've been developing those skills, those will serve you in your filmmaking career. The third thing that I want to talk about is that as you get older, you learn how to learn. Right? I think we all go to high school, and some of us go to college. A lot of it is just sitting there and watching something, or watching someone talk to you and then taking standardized tests. That doesn't work for everybody. It didn't really work for me. You have to learn how you learn. There's a lot of different people that like to learn by reading. There's people that learn by hearing. There's people that learn by watching. And I think a lot of us creatives learn by watching. In the creative industry, the world is always changing. The bar is always raising and moving and going somewhere else. You need to be constantly learning to be a cinematographer or a filmmaker or a director or any creative. Okay. My point is that if you've been learning how to learn, you've been learning how you learn, then that's gonna help you when you jump into the film industry. You have to learn how to be comfortable with yourself. And maybe some people get this earlier in life, but I didn't get this until about maybe like last year, so when I was 30. And I think I've always been a little bit uncomfortable with who I am and what my interests are. I've always felt like I've been a little bit on like the nerdy side. I feel like I've tried to overcompensate in certain ways. And then even with the type of photography that's interesting to me, I was never driven towards very narrative things or dark imagery, which I think a lot of my friends are and peers are. I've always liked the stuff that I've liked, but I think it's taken me until I was about 30 to really be like, you know what, I like shooting this. I like working this way, and these are my interests. And I'm very confident now just telling you, I like playing video games. I also like watching a copious amount of YouTube because I think there's a lot of fun content on YouTube. And I'm not afraid to tell that to anybody. So if you figure that out about yourself, then you are in a great place to start a career as a cinematographer. So Matt, is it too late for me to become a cinematographer? I'm saying that it's up to you. It's up to you if you think it's too late. If you think it's too late, then it probably is. But I'm telling you that it's not. I think a lot of people think that it's too late to become a cinematographer because I've done another career, or I'm too old. But I'll say the thing that keeps most people back from succeeding, from being a successful cinematographer, is being afraid to take that first step. Just know that there's people that have had entire careers that changed to cinematography, and because of the 5 points that I laid out before, they'd been working on all those other things. Once they got into learning the cinematography, learning the mechanics, and learning how that part worked, all those other life experiences, they served them really well in the film industry, because I think that a lot of these standout cinematographers that have achieved success, yes, they probably are technically proficient at cinematography, but it's all these other things that I talked about that actually makes them fun to work with and makes them great collaborators on set. And a cinematographer and a filmmaker, you have to be great to work with on set. You have to have all these other things figured out. If you've been working on those things and all you need to catch up on is the cinematography, the mechanics, which you can learn right here in places like Shane's Inner Circle, and from just being on set, that it's not too late to become a cinematographer, so go out there and get it right now. Woo! Okay, that was a serious one. I don't think I've done anything that serious before. If you liked this video, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and in the comments now, what I want you to tell me and share with the community is, how long was it between the time that you decided you wanted to be a filmmaker and the time that you took the first legitimate step to being a filmmaker? How long was it between these steps? And what was that first step? I'm really interested. I think everyone else is gonna feel better when they hear how long it took, when it was, what was that first step? I think the first step is the hard part for a lot of people, so by sharing it, I hope that that helps you even more. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you guys next time. Get out there and plan better, shoot better. Cheers, bye.